The UB Bulls men's basketball team has had a tough start to their season, going just 1-9 through their first 10. So what are the good, the bad, and the ugly things for them so far this year? Find out coming up. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Sports Talk Buffalo. The UB Bulls have started just 1-9 this season, with their lone win coming as just a 6-point win against a Division II foe in Roberts Wesleyan. So as you can see, like I stated, it has been a very, very tough start for the UB Bulls this season. But it hasn't been all bad. As in the title, we're going to talk about some good, some bad, and some ugly things so far this season. So let's start off on a positive note before we get into the rest of it. And some of the positive things are that UB does have some players that are very, very fun to watch this year, starting with senior Cy Chapman, who so far has been easily the Bulls' best player on the court, both offensively and defensively. He is averaging 16.3 points, 7 rebounds, and also nearly 2 blocks per game. So as you can see, far and away has been the Bulls' best and most consistent player through these first 10 games. Another player who is also averaging in double figures before he got hurt was Isaiah Adams, who is averaging nearly 30 minutes a game. Again, before he got hurt, he has missed the last 5 games or so. He is averaging nearly 12 points per game and 4.2 rebounds through the first few games that he has played this season. Also, lastly, one of the fun players to watch is a holdover from the Weitzel era, which is Janavius Smith, who has had a pretty solid start to his senior season with this UB Bulls basketball team. He is averaging nearly a double-double so far with 9 points and 8.8 rebounds per game. A few of the other honorable mentions and some people that you can get excited about moving forward, provided they don't jump in that transfer portal, is firstly Anquan Bolden Jr., who has seemingly gotten better every single game this year, something you absolutely want to see happen with your freshman playing so many minutes. He has gotten better, more confident. He's knocking down shots, he's driving, and really showing off his incredible athleticism. That is the reason why the Bulls went out and picked him up this past offseason. He's averaging 8.1 points per game and 3.6 rebounds per game to go along with more than 1 steal per game. He is certainly starting to show again why the Bulls went out and picked him up and offered him a scholarship to come to UB. And somebody else who has flashed, he has kind of been off a little bit lately, more than he has been on, but he has flashed some significant skill, and that is guard Ryan Sable, who is averaging 7.2 points per game so far through the first 10 games. Before we go any further, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Of course, I talk Bills, Sabres, and the University at Buffalo men's basketball and football teams right here on this page. Also, remember to check out some cool merch. The links will always be in the descriptions below. Now we're going to move on to the bad for the UB Bulls. And as we mentioned earlier, their lone win was to Division II Roberts Wesleyan, and it was by just 6 points in that game, a game that saw them commit 20 turnovers, which brings us to our second bad thing about this team, and that is the turnovers. Buffalo is averaging a staggering amount of 17.5 turnovers per game while forcing just 11.1. Of course, I believe that was stats taken before this last game was played. However, still incredibly alarming stats for this UB Bulls team. Buffalo currently sits near the absolute bottom of the league in all of Division I sports, not just the league that they play in or the conference that they play in, but all of Division I basketball, as they rank. And when I looked this up, they ranked 350th in Division I with turnovers, being better than just one team in all of Division I. Something that is incredibly alarming through the first 10 games of the season. Lastly, the last bad thing that I want to talk about is UB ranks 185 in rebounds per game at just under 37. You are talking about a program, of course, they are essentially all brand new players, and an entire new coaching staff, but you're talking about a program that would really pride itself on things like rebounds and taking charges just a few short years ago and had a ton of success at it. So if you are a coach coming in, would that not be one of the things that you would almost kind of want to mimic in order to kind of build your team for the future, is focusing in on little things kind of like that in order to get your team the blue collar U type mantra. I know this is an entirely new coaching staff, but it worked really, really well for UB, and a lot of guys really bought into it. They wanted to be the toughest players on the court, and so far UB, who had been one of the best rebounding teams in the entire country just a few short years ago, sits again at 185 at the time that I looked these stats up. And now we go to the ugly for the University at Buffalo men's basketball team. And outside of a few flashes, they have been horrible on both sides of the ball. Offensively, scoring just 67.8 points per game, which ranks them around 300 in the nation. And also defensively, they have been even worse. That is the scary part, is offensively they have been bad. Defensively, they have been even worse. And they give up nearly 82 points per game, which ranks them in the bottom 15 teams in the entire nation at Division I. Buffalo's closest game versus a D1 opponent was a 6-point loss to FDU to open up the season. Another one of the ugly things, we're talking about them losing and losing bad. The average margin of defeat for this UB Bulls team is 16.3 points. They have not only not been good, they have not even been close. They're not even in games late in most of these games. UB has been blown out by something close to 40 points in this season. And of course, their closest game, their closest loss outside of the Division II opponent, in which they won by 6 points, was a 6-point loss. The Bulls just seemingly are not getting any better as these games progress. A couple players are starting to show some signs of maybe getting better, but offensively, they are careless with the ball. Defensively, they seem confused constantly. Their guys are the opposing team is always running guys wide open. They're always getting easy looks from three. They're constantly getting in and crashing the boards. They are beating the Bulls up on the boards. They are constantly being able to get to the rim. All of these things are a reason why the only win they've had is against a Division II opponent. And again, all of these is the reason why they haven't even really been close in most of the games that they've played against Division I foes. To bring it all together, I knew this season would be difficult for not just the fans, but for the team itself. However, I think I overestimated how good this team might be. As so far this season, they are not just not a good team, not just not an okay team, they're not just a bad team, they are a terrible team so far this year, and they have been very, very bad pretty much against every single Division I opponent that they have faced. And unless something changes drastically and fast for this UB Bulls team, this could be the worst team that UB has put out in program history. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Can this team win 5 or maybe even 10 games? Or do you think that this is going to be the worst team in program history? That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. And as always, have a fantastic week.